Love across fireline. I never imagined that a single text could change everything. That it could make me question not just the world, but myself. My name is Levi Ben Ami, and I've always trusted patterns, codes, systems, logic. Chaos scared most people. Me, I thrived in it. Until the night it caught up with me. I was sitting on my couch in Brooklyn, the city lights painting the room orange through the blinds. Nora was beside me, curled up with her tablet. She's Iranian. I'm Israeli. And somehow, despite everything the world had thrown at us, borders, politics, history, we'd found each other. Love didn't care about passports or politics. At least, that's what I thought. My phone buzzed. Unknown number. Return immediately. You are required. I froze. My stomach tightened. I stared at her. Her eyes, deep and trusting, looked up from her reading. I'll be right back, I said, trying to sound casual. Just some work to take care of. She nodded. That trust, that faith, it should have warmed me. Instead, it made my chest tighten. I walked to my home office. My laptop blinked with encrypted messages, government protocols, and coordinate maps. I'm part of a cyber defense system. My job is to predict threats, stop them before they happen, prevent disasters. Or at least, that's what I thought. Minutes blurred into hours. Every ping, every alert, every encrypted message carried the weight of a world I could no longer ignore. I watched screens displaying city maps, missile trajectories, and casualty estimates. Iran. Israel. The world felt like a chessboard, and each move, each prediction, had real lives attached. And then my heart nearly stopped. Breaking news flashed across the TV. Missile strikes. Fires engulfing hospitals. Explosions across cities. Death, indiscriminate and loud. I swallowed hard. I thought we were safe here in the U.S., but the world wasn't respecting borders. Then I heard her phone buzz. Nora's parents. Tehran. The voice on the line was trembling. Hospital under attack, she whispered, her face drained of color. I tried to remain calm, but my mind raced. I wanted to go to her, to comfort her, but I couldn't. My work, my duty, my systems, they demanded focus. I told myself I was helping more by acting through them than by simply holding her hand. That night, we sat together in silence. The hum of the city outside was drowned out by distant sirens. She tried to read. I tried to code. But the news, it didn't stop. Every alert, every casualty count, each one felt like a hammer on my chest. I could feel the war creeping into our apartment, into our lives. Finally, she looked at me, eyes shimmering with unshed tears. Levi, what if your country asked you to fight mine? I couldn't answer. Not yet. Not when the truth was a blade I wasn't ready to pull from its sheath. My hand hovered over my keyboard, my heart beating faster than it should. I loved her, and I was powerless to protect her. The next day, the calls intensified. Flights canceled, borders tightened. Even our lives here were under scrutiny. I wasn't just Levi, her boyfriend. I was Levi, Israeli cyber defense analyst. And every move I made was tracked. The morning light did nothing to ease the weight on my chest. Nora was quiet, her eyes glued to her tablet, scrolling through messages from her family back in Tehran. Each ping made her flinch. Each image from the hospital shredded a piece of my calm. I wanted to tell her everything. That my system, Oracle, could intercept threats. That I could prevent attacks before they happened. But how could I explain to her that sometimes, in order to stop one tragedy, dozens of others might happen? That the algorithms I trusted could dictate life and death? That the very tools I'd built to protect were imperfect? She looked at me suddenly. Her gaze was sharp, accusatory, and terrified all at once. "Levi, the hospital. Did you know about it?" Gee. I froze. My fingers hovered over the keyboard. My pulse was in my throat. "I tried to stop it," I whispered. She shook her head, disbelieving. "Then why it happened?" "Because sometimes trying to stop it meant betraying someone else. Her even." The thought made me sick. But the alternative, inaction, was worse. The days stretched on, with no mercy. News alerts kept flashing across every screen, each one a reminder of the escalation. Missile strikes. Civilians caught in the wrong place at the wrong time. And here we were, pretending the world outside our apartment walls was just a bad dream. Nora tried to read. I tried to focus on my work. But it was impossible. Every time I glanced at her, my chest ached. Her fear was mine. Her helplessness unbearable. I thought I could shield her. I thought I could contain the war to the screens, the algorithms, the codes. But the truth was cruel. I couldn't protect the person I loved most. Later that evening, we tried to have dinner. Pasta, wine, a half-hearted attempt at normalcy. But the world wouldn't let us. Her phone buzzed again. And this time, she didn't even look at me. "Hospital under attack again," she murmured, almost to herself. I felt my stomach twist. Not just for her. For everyone. My entire life had been spent trying to predict chaos, contain it, control it. And yet here I was, powerless. Then came the first real confrontation. "Levi," she said, voice trembling, "if your country asks you to fight mine, what then?" I couldn't answer. Not because I didn't know, I did. Deep down, I already knew what my duty would demand. But how do you tell the woman you love that one day, your choices may lead to her death? That the algorithms you've sworn to obey might make you her enemy? The room was silent except for the hum of the refrigerator and the faint sirens outside. The city itself seemed to hold its breath. I looked at her, and all I could see was fear, heartbreak, and trust. The kind of trust that can't survive the war yet refuses to break. By nightfall, the tension had become unbearable. Every alert ping from my Oracle system sent a shiver down my spine. Coordinates, potential targets, projected casualties, all of it felt like a knife pressed to my heart. And then the notification that would change everything came. Potential strike detected. Immediate action required. My hand shook. I could intervene. I could try to redirect the outcome. But even as I stared at the code, I realized something terrifying. This system didn't just predict the future. It recorded it. Every decision made by those who observed it influenced what actually happened. And the moment I looked at it, I became part of it. Nora didn't know yet. She was curled on the couch, hugging herself, trying to block the world outside. I wanted to hold her. I wanted to tell her everything. But I couldn't. Not without risking the very life I was trying to save. By the third day, the war felt like it had followed us into our apartment. The city outside was alive, but every siren, every distant rumble of traffic, felt like a drumbeat counting down to disaster. Nora hardly slept. Her tablet was filled with messages from Tehran, doctors, nurses, family, each one more desperate than the last. I tried to focus on Oracle. The system ran faster than my thoughts, processing millions of variables, missile trajectories, cyber threats, potential casualties. I watched the numbers climb, the red dots spread across digital maps. And all the while, I felt the slow, steady crushing of inevitability. That evening, Nora confronted me directly. "Levi, tell me, did your system mark the hospital?" Her voice was barely above a whisper, but it pierced me. I closed my laptop slowly, hands trembling. "Yes," I said, the words tasting like poison. She looked at me, shocked, horrified, hurt. "Mark it? You chose it?" I shook my head, trying to explain the impossible. "I didn't choose it. I didn't want it. The system, it's not perfect. It predicts, but sometimes prevention creates the casualty you never wanted. I tried to stop it. I couldn't." She stepped back, her face pale. "So people die because of you?" Her words didn't sting. They burned. Later that night, we barely spoke. I stayed at my laptop, running simulations, trying to find a path where no one dies. But every scenario looped back to the same brutal reality. The war outside my apartment was inevitable, and my love, my Nora, was caught in the crossfire. At 11:57 p.m., her phone buzzed again. A video this time. A hospital wing, shrouded in smoke, flames licking the ceilings, and her colleagues struggling to carry patients through debris. My stomach twisted. I wanted to close my eyes, cover my ears, scream, anything. But I couldn't. I had to see it. She turned to me, trembling. "Levi, we should leave. Now!" I nodded. My chest was tight, my fingers numb. We grabbed our coats, wallets, passports. I thought we could escape, hide, disappear. But the city itself had already been infected by the war's reach. Flights canceled, roads blocked, people panicked. Escape wasn't possible. Not really. The next morning, the news went global. Every screen in the city reported strikes, retaliation, and casualties. Iran, Israel, the U.S., caught in the crossfire through cyber sabotage and economic panic. I watched a digital map update in real time. Targets confirmed, systems neutralized, lives marked. I couldn't look at Nora. She was curled in the corner, shaking. "Levi, why?" I closed my eyes. Tried to remember a time before war invaded our lives. I whispered. "I tried to save everyone. I really did." Her tears fell silently. I wanted to hold her, to promise her safety, to rewrite reality. But deep down I knew I couldn't. Not without breaking everything I had sworn to protect. And then the message arrived. Unknown number, blinking red on my phone. "Next target confirmed." I froze. My heart pounded. Every instinct screamed, "Don't open it." But I did. Coordinates. A hospital. Her hospital. Nora screamed when she saw it. "Levi, what does this mean?" I swallowed. My hand shook. "It means it's already happening." She backed away, fear overwhelming every ounce of trust between us. I wanted to tell her it wasn't too late, that we could change the outcome. But the truth was worse. The moment we saw it, we were part of it. Watching wasn't neutral. It was the trigger. I realized then, Oracle didn't predict the future. It recorded the consequences of those who saw it. Every viewer became a participant. Every choice, every glance, every click shaped what would happen next. Nora's eyes widened. You caused this?" I nodded. I couldn't lie. "I didn't want it. But yes, by seeing it, By trying to act, I became the chain reaction. She sobbed quietly, shaking her head. I wanted to disappear. I wanted to erase every code, every number, every line that had led us here. But there was no erasing reality. Not anymore. We reached the edge of the city, past the barricades and panicked crowds. But it didn't matter. The war had followed us. It wasn't just in the skies, on screens, or in algorithms. It was inside us. Nora's hand shook as she gripped mine. Her face was pale, almost ghost-like, eyes wide with disbelief and fear. Levi, tell me what to do. Please. I didn't have an answer. I never had one. The system had already made its choice. Every intervention I tried only fed the loop. Every glance at the coordinates, every calculation, every attempt to save, had pulled the trigger. And now, her life hung in the balance, not as a warning, not as a chance, but as a consequence. We crouched behind a crumbling wall as sirens wailed and distant explosions shook the ground. Her phone buzzed again. Another alert. Another video. I couldn't look. My head ached. My chest felt hollow. No, she whispered. Please, no more. But the system was relentless. Oracle's notification glowed red. Target confirmed. Hospital. Imminent. I froze. My fingers hovered over the keys. My entire life had led to this moment. The power to prevent it, or accelerate it, was mine. But the choice wasn't mine anymore. It was the system's. Or maybe the universe's. Nora's eyes met mine. She saw the truth before I could even speak. Levi, you knew all along, didn't you? I swallowed hard. My throat burned. I tried. I really tried. But seeing it makes you part of it. Every action, every glance, feeds the outcome. I couldn't stop it. Her face twisted in anguish, a mixture of fear, disbelief, and heartbreak. She pulled away, trembling. Then, what do we do? I had no answer. Silence swallowed us. The distant explosions, the screams on the streets, the blaring sirens, all blended into a terrifying symphony. My hand shook as I looked at the screen one last time. And then, it happened. The message we both feared. Confirm target. My fingers moved before I could stop them. A single click. A single confirmation. The city shuddered. Sirens screamed louder. Screens flashed red. And in that instant, I knew. I had just confirmed her death. My Nora. The woman I loved. I turned, my eyes searching the streets for her. She wasn't there. And then, the truth hit me like a missile to the chest. Oracle didn't just predict. It didn't just record. It looped reality. The moment you saw it, you became the cause. Days passed, or maybe hours. I no longer kept track. Every alert, every new target, every red dot on the map, all a reminder of my role in the devastation. The world outside was chaos. But the worst part, the unending part, was inside me. Then, in the quiet of my apartment, a new alert. Unknown sender. Blinking red on the screen. Do not watch the news at midnight. I stared at it. My heart pounded. My hands trembled. I wanted to close it, smash it, erase it, but I couldn't. Curiosity, duty, obsession, all of it pulled me in. The screen glowed, showing a familiar city, familiar streets, and then her face. Nora. Alive, but screaming. The exact coordinates of the hospital. The same images. The same chaos. And then I realized it had started again. The loop. The cycle. The war wasn't over. Love wasn't over. And neither was my guilt. I sank to the floor, head in my hands, listening to the city burn outside. And somewhere far away, another message awaited someone else. Another loop. Another trigger. Another victim. Do not watch the news at midnight. I closed my eyes. I knew I would open it again. And the cycle would continue.